We are finally back from hiatus with new digs.
That's right.
Welcome back to the RV Shenanigans podcast. My name is Ryan. That's Lauren over there. And this is Home Base.
Now.
Now, we have put a lot of effort into the podcast. It was one of the more popular things we did. Mm-hmm. And we knew, well, let's start with, why did we go on hiatus?
There were a lot of things that changed. Let's just say that. A lot of things. And the main one being where we were filming the podcast. We used to film this from the comforts of our RV living room.
Or random balcony.
Random balcony. All kinds of fun makeshift places. So I would say the biggest thing is we sold our beloved Valor.
We did.
And I'll leave part B of that plan for later. But yes, we sold our Valor.
We did. And we obviously bought a home base because we're sitting in it.
Okay, well, that was part B. Yes, we bought a home too.
So at the end of the day, well, I don't, it's hard to talk about all of this.
It is.
And if you haven't figured out by now, we're going to simply kind of fill you in on where we've been, what we've been doing, which, spoiler, if you watch the main videos, you are aware.
But for anybody who prefers to listen, we'll dive into that a little bit.
So why did we end up selling the RV after we made the decision to give up full-time RV life for the weekend warrior lifestyle?
So for us, if we weren't going to be full-time in that RV, it was a bit of overkill, if you will. We could be a little bit more maneuverable without one of the largest RVs known to man. And so that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about maneuverability. When we were in as big of an RV as we're in, and we'll talk a little bit about our new RV because we're not giving it up.
No.
You know, being able to be nimble and do some things that we maybe haven't done. And I felt like we had kind of blocked ourselves out of the state of Texas. So for us to travel in our RV, we could repeat stuff in Texas.
Right.
But we would have, like, we didn't really fit in state parks. I think we fit in like 2 state parks, and I think we fit in like 6 national parks.
And also, I wasn't comfortable driving the big RV. And so having something smaller, I am more comfortable driving. So whenever we're trying to do those long travel days, at least we have another option if need be.
Yeah. So that kind of ties into why did we pick the smaller travel trailer. So she hasn't actually said a name. So we used to be in an Alliance Valor 44 V14, and now we're in an Alliance Delta 252 RL, which is a travel trailer. It's
under 30 feet.
It's our first stint into bumper pull world.
It sure is. Well, as far as RVs go.
Well, yeah. So why did you, I mean, talking a little bit about, we already kind of talked about why we wanted to fit into state parks, national parks, that stuff.
Right.
But I think the big portion of it for me was being more nimble and not being as stressed on travel days.
It was very stressful for you as far as the travel went, just going down the road, even if we were on a freeway where the bridges hypothetically are tall enough and everything, but still, it was a lot of work for you.
Didn't stop me from doing 12-hour days.
No, it didn't, but it made them stressful for you.
It did, and I was more tired. It felt like a 16-hour day after a 12-hour day, which is a little crazy for most people, but being able to maneuver small ones, you know, I got into a pickle. I think I was heading to Florida when you had to fly down and meet me. So not last year because we weren't there, but the year prior. And I was trying to stop at a Cracker Barrel in, what was that town? Hattiesburg?
Maybe, yeah.
Is that central Mississippi? So I'm going to go with Hattiesburg.
Somewhere in central Mississippi.
And let's just say it was dicey. And I say dicey, it's just not one of those, you know, we always talk about like your best RV security is your gut. And I got one of those feelings where it's like and it sucks that people are put in this position, but there's a lot of homeless people wandering around and they're wandering right around. There was a big manufacturing business behind the Cracker Barrel that was no longer in business. So people were like squatting on it. There was like tents. The feeling wasn't there. I just got a little apprehensive traveling by myself. And so I packed up and kept on, well, never unpacked.
Yeah.
Just kind of looked at it and didn't really open the slides and took off. So the closest alternative was to get to kind of the Mobile, Alabama area, which for us was en route down to Florida. Got there, pulled into the first Cracker Barrel I could find where I thought I could fit, and based on satellite images I could. There were so many low trees.
Yes, those weren't on the satellite very well.
No, and that's part of it. Things change. That satellite image could be 2 years old, but I whacked a few good ones and didn't really feel comfortable staying there because I couldn't find a spot that I couldn't not take out half the things on our roof.
Well, now it's dark too, so that was complicating things.
So I literally kept on driving until I got just across the border into Florida. So I literally added like a fun 4-hour bonus. Got across the border and found a brand new Cracker Barrel on Google Maps, not even on RV Life or any of the Trip Wizards or Garmin or any of that stuff.
That was a good find.
And it was awesome.
Yes. But anyways, that's just an example of how it complicates things.
Right. And now having the smaller rig, I can kind of pop into, like I could have stopped at that second Cracker Barrel pretty easily. I have a hiccup.
I see that.
I'm not conditioned for podcasting again. But I can probably swing into that one and fit because it was, I would have been shorter and I would have taken an hour and a half, 2 hours off the drive that day. So does it change the way we plan our trips?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
The short answer is yes, because you as the driver aren't as easily fatigued. And so not that we want to go longer necessarily, but I do think that it does change that, where we can stop, how nimble we can be when we stop, that sort of stuff.
Well, I also think too that it's a big portion of where we decide to go. We have coming up, we have some state parks on our list.
That's right.
We would have never, ever, ever, ever in a million years fit in our Valor. I don't know, we can make it through the guard gate. And now we can.
So, but also our little Delta does not have solar stuff on it yet, the Valor did. Our Valor had a wonderful solar package. But anyways, one day maybe the little Delta will, but not yet. So we do have to plan accordingly for that.
So that's the RV side of it. Why did we end up doing the whole home base thing? And we actually have talked about this very briefly on the main channel.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of factors.
There were really a lot of factors. We were not on the road as much as we thought we would be able to because of
traveling. Technically, we slept on it all the time because we were full-time in the RV.
But there were several other commitments that kind of kept us a lot closer to the home base, I think, than we anticipated.
Yeah, work, family.
And so when you're weathering out both Texas ice storms and Texas heat waves in the RV, it was kind of like,
the ice storm was easier.
What? Yeah, I completely
Burned
agree.
through some propane,
but the ice storm was easier. The worst part was getting down the stairs in the ice storm. So it just didn't make a whole lot of sense for us to be doing that, and when we could have a little bit better balance.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about that aha moment where we really kind of first started talking about it. In fact, the video that I just got done editing was us talking about sitting in 105-degree Texas heat, AC's pumping as hard as they possibly can, the dog's not really having anywhere to play,
right?
That kind of stuff. And it just kind of festered a little bit, kind of like the idea to go full-time festered for a while. I mean, I don't know that anybody reacts on their first gut reaction of like, we should full-time RV. I think it sits for a while.
Oh, I know plenty of people that would react like that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Well, and another thing that I talked about in that video that I think was important is there was an investment portion of this, like a money management side that kind of always bothered me a little bit.
Right.
And it's not that it's a bad idea to full-time.
No,
but financially, it's not exactly the most stable investment. And by stable, I mean, it's not stable at all.
Well, and so let's just kind of break that down before somebody gets the wrong idea on that. An RV is a depreciating asset.
Just like your car.
There's no way around that. That doesn't make it bad. If you're using it for memories, then, maybe it's the best investment you can make.
And I would agree with that.
Absolutely. But for us, there was a little bit of lack of stability with where we were going to be, when we needed to be there, the financial side. And so several financial things kind of started to come into play.
Most real estate is an appreciating asset.
It is. And
it's got to be really bad real estate to not be.
Right, exactly. So for us, we were uncomfortable being in that kind of uneasy place at this point in our lives.
Well, I think we were okay with it initially. And I think that just was it's kind of like the Chinese water torture thing. It's like, I can sit here all day for this thing dripping on my head. And then after about 10 hours, you're driven clinically insane.
You find the things that bothered you that maybe you didn't know bothered you. But also anybody that says that RV life is cheaper just by nature is inherently wrong.
I think it depends on where you're coming from, for starters. Like the way we did it, it was pretty Even.
Yes. And so it can be more or less expensive, but some people just have that in their heads that automatically RV life is cheaper. And that's not necessarily the case.
Well, if you're going to be off grid the whole time and you're not spending, like you don't care about temperature, maybe don't have animals, that kind of stuff, and you're going to chase 72 degrees all the time, and you don't have to pay for a ridiculously large solar system, and you're going off grid, it could be.
It could be.
For us and our lifestyle, it was pretty down the middle.
It was.
I've also heard of some people where it's much, much more expensive.
Exactly.
It depends on where you want to stay. Those resorts get expensive.
Yeah.
So with that,
okay.
is there anything else you want to let them know what's been going on over the last 3+ months? We're recording this at the 3-month mark. I don't know what's going to happen the next month or two. So,
I don't know. What do you?
So there's nothing else. I'm just checking with you. That's all.
Let's see. We sold an RV. We bought a house. We bought another RV. We went on a cruise. That was fun.
We did go on a cruise with our friends Phil and Stacy and Aaron and Caitlin.
That's right. And we had a wonderful time.
We have a lot of trips planned.
I really feel like selling the large RV, buying a house, buying the new RV in the span of like 3 months was kind of enough.
And I think between now and just after the first year, we've got... There will be more trips booked in addition to this, but I think we're sitting somewhere in the vicinity of 7 at the moment.
Yeah, that's probably right.
There's a couple of RV trips. We have some work stuff for you we're going to go do. I have some work stuff. And as a teaser, we are going to be in Florida for like 3 weeks. And so if you're going to the Tampa RV show, we will be there for portions of it. We will not be there for the whole thing. We have some other stuff going on, but we will be there for portions of it. And then we're also going to go like we normally do when we're in the area. Phil and Stacy are doing their fundraiser. So I don't know when tickets go on sale for that, but obviously you want to come say hi. That's a great opportunity. And to give back to a great charity in the Tampa area, the Elks Lodge down there, who does a lot of great work for the community.
That's right. So yeah, no, nothing else I can think of. What about you?
Nope. That's kind of everything. So where is the podcast going from here?
We don't know.
I have a better idea than she does, is what that means. So obviously, a lot of time and energy has been put into building this set. We are in a stable place. Like it's not moving. The dogs aren't right here.
We don't have to worry about if the AC is going to come on and blast out the microphone.
No, we actually have the fan on right now. It's very comfortable here. Lauren is almost cold because it's the blanket.
It's the blanket.
No, we put some time and energy into designing this and having a more permanent set, so that we can sit down and talk a little easier and a little bit more frequently, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a similar style. We are going to be bringing more guests on. So sometimes your job prohibits you from having the energy to put up with me with a microphone in front of my face.
I work 12-hour days. Sometimes I just need a little bit of a break.
So we have a couple of new segments that we're going to slowly introduce, but just know we're going to be having some guests, maybe some deep dives into why some YouTube channels have gotten into it, some more tech stuff, a little bit of everything. So if you have any show ideas or something that you really wish you could listen to while you're travel daying, again, we built this whole podcast to be more of a conversation thing. We want you to feel like you're sitting here with us, just unfortunately, you're not. You're on the other side of that lens or the other side of that speaker and don't have a microphone. So
you're here in spirit. We know.
Something like that. But yeah, we have a bunch of different show ideas coming up that we're excited to kind of start recording. And yeah, all of the things.
Well, and we wanted to record these in the RV, but trying to do that in your living room with all the equipment, set it up and take it down. And, it just...
Go back and watch if you're on YouTube doing this, or if you're on, the listening platforms, jump over to YouTube. We did a drivable versus towable with our friends Phil and Stacy. And I feel like I've name dropped them enough for this episode, unfortunately. I'm not meaning to. But if you look, there's cords everywhere.
Everywhere.
Because the camera could only sit so far away. I had to get wide angle because there was 4 of us in the shot.
We had to lock the dogs out. You couldn't get up to go to the bathroom because you'd trip over something.
Yeah, I literally had to move things so that Phil could go to the bathroom at one point. And we sat there for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, we did. But anyway, so hopefully this is a little bit, like you said, we can do this more frequently and just it'll be a little easier.
Yes. So with that, thank you for tuning in for our first episode back in the relaunch. If you noticed, I know I just thanked them, but it went from RV Shenanigans to Millers in Motion podcast back to RV Shenanigans.
Yeah.
That's semi-important to talk about.
Okay.
What we had meant to do was, so we had a lot of non-RV travel, and we thought that the podcast going to its old channel and rebranding it just under our name was all a great idea. In retrospect, it was a bad idea.
It was. It did
We're
not.
learning from our mistakes.
It was not well received.
It wasn't horribly received, but nobody could find it.
Exactly.
And so we're just going back to what we know, and that's just shenanigans.
We do know shenanigans.
So with that, do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to all of this chaos. If you turn a little bell notification on, we are going to be putting these out every midweek. And our main videos will still come out on Saturday. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple are our biggest two, do us a favor, hit that little follow button. There's also an option to actually send us a message in there if you go into the show description. If you do that, shoot us a note. I can't reply to it, but we can answer questions, do those types of things. I'd like to get to a point where we have a reoccurring segment that we actually answer y'all's questions on the show. So,
now, of course, don't do that while you're driving.
Please don't. Or have your navigator do it.
That's right. You can listen to us, but no texting and driving.
So with that, we're going to sign off from our first episode. Do you feel comfortable doing it?
No.
Perfect. See you guys next week.